What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Roll Aim Lift podcast. I'm Bo with my boy here, Isiah, and I got my thing, 303 Solutions. We do all the hard skills stuff. And then Isiah from Roll How I Roll Fitness. I didn't forget it this time.
Story for offline.
Even though I was trying not to say ums and uhs. But
that's offline.
We're here in the Roll Aim Lift studio.
Talk about, first
AKA the Roll How I Roll Dojo Gym.
Whiskey Distillery place. That's
where all the pain and gain happens. So
there's a lot of pain. I don't know about gain. I don't know if they like us or they just
gains.
I tore my quad muscle the other day. And
bourbon, whiskey, tequila.
They got a brand new tequila. I was reckless. It wasn't even a cool story. I wasn't like doing like Bulgarian squats and was doing 150 pounds or anything like that.
You weren't sitting there like doing like 350-pound benches or just like moving big wheels.
So I'm gonna tell you what it was. So playing the basketball game, dribbling, coming down and stuff like that, doing my thing. You know what I mean? This is who I am, right?
And doing the thing,
swagging because I hit this team for like 12 points already. 12. I'm feeling nice. One of the weird feeling like I'm 20-something years old again. Known for their whiskey. Both hips, original hips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it felt really lubricated.
It's a full-on vibe.
Smooth. But I was looking good too, glistening and stuff like that too. You know, kind of put the other moms looking and stuff like that. Yeah, you got to show out. You know. Right, so I might have been feeling myself a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's kind of like
so. There's a guy cutting down on the baseline.
Yeah,
and I was at half court still, so I think they were running a 2-3 zone.
We're
going to
talk
kind of crowded.
Top 5,
but he brought two guys over, shifted over with him. He was going left to right. Right, and there was a window where I can get him the pass, and even if I can get him the pass, he wouldn't be able to make the layup or anything like that. He would just be able to carry it out
as much as you like.
But like I said, I was feeling it. I was feeling good.
The
girl probably gave me a wink or two. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me make this little pass. So I made the pass between two people, one between like one dude's legs. He caught the ball and just like kind of like gave a little hezzy and just pulled it out.
Called on the phone. I was
like, hey, as soon as I started the pass and I made it,
I was like,
I extended my hip.
I was trying to hold him up for a good point.
And did the old man. Everybody like, if we were watching TV, it would go from like this and go to where the ball was at. And if they would have panned back, I was already on the floor.
Like what happened?
Like you're falling down,
bro. There's nobody around you. Like, why are you flopping?
Right.
Top 5, right? So
I'm on the ground, I'm writhing in pain. I'm like, oh, this is not good. What's going on? Something popped. And everybody's like thinking
it's like your other hip. It's your other hip. Oh no.
Yeah. He lost goal. His other hip's done and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, man, I probably shouldn't have been playing anyway. You know what I mean?
Extra broke now.
Yeah. So yeah, like I had to get carried off like Paul Pierce and stuff like that. So I really didn't do that. I walked off like Kobe. I ain't no point.
3 or 4 years.
5
getting banged up as well. Like getting old sucks.
Oh my god!
Like I had that bulge disc. What
your body goes through a lot of
couple months back,
and anesthesia going underneath it and stuff like that. I mean,
I just remember I did a pistol class. It was a 2-day class. At the first day, no issues, running the gun. Second day was like the movement stuff. And I remember laying in bed, and I woke up, and I was like, oh boy.
So many times I'm fighting somebody.
This isn't good.
Or something, and I'm just hurt.
And I tried to sit up, and I was like, "Oh, this is not a dream anymore." Still, like I was like, "How am I going to put my socks on?" So I was like,
"That I need."
Got one toe, and another toe, and another toe, and I was like, "All right, cool." Got one sock on, and that felt like I was like sweating.
We're sitting down like this.
It was like a full-on workout to get a sock on. I was like, this is going to be a long day. Like, I'm going to have to demo some movement, do all that stuff, and got my other sock on and my shoes. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. Like, I had that feeling like I really like the wrong ones. It was at this point.
I mean, how many times you get out of
the fucked up? Yeah. It was that because like I got my socks and shoes on and I was very confident. Oh, this is fine. And then I was like, everything is awesome. I have to put shorts on. Afterwards, I'm like, oh man. And I haven't put my shorts on yet. Like, why does then I had to like going take shoes off and then put my shorts on because like I was so focused on getting my damn shoes on. Like, so anyways, doing silly goose stuff. So that's it. I mean, it just puts how I live my massive toll on you. Like hips, knees.
I don't like
not just that, but like carrying the kit.
Really like telling war stories, but this is actually pretty funny. What's the longest pursuit like you ever been in?
I'm sure same thing for you. Like before this whole like outer carrier train kind of took off.
Probably
like everybody had to carry everything on their belt.
So
and like I know when
we
I
had
started,
one for like an hour or something.
In the mind frame of like I was working down Nattisco.
Yeah,
like you're skipping through songs at that point.
Yeah,
it's like all right, 30 minutes away.
A good playlist, right? Yeah, and like you pretty much go through your whole playlist, like you said. Yeah. But don't give cops that much time to think about what they want to do.
No,
thinking about doing somersaults coming out and all that.
We didn't have outer carriers.
I was in a gang unit.
Do some cool stuff when I get out.
Right.
And so like
I was in a gang unit.
All of this, 35.
Anybody who knows who's been in like in the stuff, they may say on paper or whatever like that. There's
different than what I
one or two
now,
cops
right? Like
in the
a little bit more minimalist.
in
try
the pursuit.
Carry
then if you look in your rearview mirror, there's nothing line all in back.
Yeah,
probably like 3 counties over. You know what I mean?
Like I have some stuff 5 lanes, like 5 lanes wide.
Yeah. So it was me and another guy from the gang unit. We're in an unmarked car. So all I had was my gang jacket that you said you want us over there. People can't see that on TV, but it just says Richmond gang unit.
I'd have like 7
and then I had
flashlights on my
jeans
belt
and a holster.
1 is 9 and 2 is 14.
Yeah, handcuffs. That's it. That's all we carried. We didn't have our full kit or anything like that.
Kind of transitioning that shit.
These guys are throwing guns out the window. They're chasing. We spike all their car tires and stuff like that. They're sparking all over the place. And they're trying to make it to SeaWorld.
A little bit more minimalist.
They don't make it, so they go off on the side of the road. We try to do a high risk stop, but they're like, they're not coming out of the car or anything like that. My homeboy is a canine. You gotta be able to move. And eventually, just everybody was so hopped up on Mountain Dew for that whole hour that they run over to the car.
So I've been shotgunning Red Bulls the entire time.
Yeah,
just nothing else to do.
Right. So he has full kit. So he takes his baton out, smashes the window.
When you're trying,
and I'm running up to the passenger side. I was like, oh, that is dope. I'm gonna do that.
But I don't have a baton, right? Stride movement.
So instead of one guy's not coming out of my side of the car, he locked it. So what do I do? Boom, smash the window with my fist. It breaks. I'm raking it and all that kind of stuff. I pull the guy out of the car, and he's fighting me. We're fighting and stuff like that. We're on the ground, and like the helicopter's recording us and stuff like that. We're just going. Finally getting him full send. Yeah, finally getting him in handcuffs and stuff, right? If you're not, and then Sarge comes over, is like, all right, cool. You good? I was like, yeah, he's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm good. He's like, look at your hand.
Your back.
So I looked down at my hand, and I looked like I had clump fingers, and I didn't know. He should have never told me. I hate him to this day for telling me.
Walk around with chest bowl.
But so I swear, like one finger was like 3 fingers. Oh, and I was like, oh, my hand's broken. We gotta go.
They're just all thrashed.
Yep. So I had all the excitement and broke my hand, and I didn't take any days off. Like, so everybody's dream. It was weird, like going to work and it was all swollen like this and. Like anytime admin came by and sticking my hand in my sweater.
You don't want to see it. Don't ask.
Maurice.
Don't ask questions you're only interested in.
Right? He's like, you ain't hurt. And had the skin of a model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's everybody's dream, right? But is it realistic? So I tell everybody the dream versus the goal. So your goal, what is your real goal? All right. Like with you, it's like, I want to have better glutes, right?
Yeah.
And
I want to be caked up.
You said you wanted to go down.
I want to be caked up.
You're caked up already. It's
in my shiny pants.
It's hard to.
It's the camera. I swear it's the camera.
It's like I'm taking a restructured, like old school car that's already been modified to, by Chip Foose, and you're trying to do something better on it.
Right.
You came pretty good, but now you're at that next level.
It's like you got a really dope '69 Camaro, and now you're like, oh, but I want it to be a Bugatti. Mm-hmm. Well, bro, like it's a '69 Camaro. It ain't gonna be a Bugatti.
Well, like that 300 craze where everybody kept trying to say it was a Bentley.
Yeah. Or it's a Phantom. No. Yeah. No, it's not.
So when I talk to people, I kind of like brush off that dream. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I hear you on that. But I mean, are you trying to have bigger legs? Are you trying to reach a certain goal on your bench press? Some of those things. So it's something that's goal achievable. So like I go off SMART, specific, manageable, achievable, relevant, and time down. All right, so like I have a person that wants to go on a cruise in August, and they're signed up yesterday.
Right.
Now, she's in pretty good shape as it is already. She said she only wants to lose like 10 pounds, but I'm not going to immediately put her in a deficit and do all this kind of stuff and do all this kind of crazy stuff just to get her down to the 10%. I mean, down to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I want to do it right. I want to build a right foundation.
Right.
So I try to give her a little bit, more manageable goal, and she was good about it. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, let's see about pant size. Let's see about getting some more definition, because muscle weighs more than fat. So, if I can get you to fit in this bathing suit and look good in it, it doesn't matter what weight you're at. And she's like, yeah, that sounds good to me.
It's kind of what the goal, the transition from like having that like overarching dream. Cause like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm all about dreams. Like having dreams is important. Right. Yep. And like, I have my dreams of like what I want to do and like the physique I want to have and this, that, and the other. But like,
if we didn't have a dream, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now.
But there's, for sure. But at the same time, like there's a lot of stuff on the back end that comes into play for like, somebody wanting to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Well, do you have Arnold Schwarzenegger genes? You know what I mean? Like that's like, you're looking at a 1% 0.5% person, right? So like you might not have the genetics for that.
Yeah.
Like me, like I got little baby calves that sit really high up on my legs.
I think 95% of the
for sure
everybody has.
And calves. I think that like if I was like, oh, I want like Jay Cutler calves.
Yeah.
My genetics are like, that's a cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
good luck with that.
Keep dreaming.
You hear about the dude that got calf implants?
Yes.
He died, bro. Like legit, he died.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that's what they're.
Well, don't do that.
He wanted calves so bad.
That one's off the table.
You know what I mean? And he wanted calves so bad that he went and got implants and he ended up, dying from them because they poisoned him.
Oh.
Could you imagine that? Like you're going to go get a BBL.
Silicone bag busted.
Right? And you just come in like you won't even wear your police uniform. You just wear like your top and spandex.
Is that like fake boobs? Is that like
BBL?
What would dudes be like, here, check out my calves? Like, they feel real? Yeah. Yeah, they're fake.
Sorry. I don't know. We do a lot of touching in the gym.
Yeah.
Like everybody says like the girls are going to be, but it ends up being like more guys.
Yeah. It's for the boys.
However,
it's for the boys. 100%.
Like when I'm around a bunch of teachers and stuff like that, they're always like grabbing my arms and stuff like that.
Especially like no older
shame
ones.
whatsoever.
Like the old ladies. Like old ladies, like, I'll help out like old ladies out on patrol. Like, oh, like, you got a flat tire. Like, oh, let me help you out. Like, let's not be standing on the side of the road. Oh, okay. And then like grab me and I'm like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing, Grandma.
It throws you off guard, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Man, I was going down 100%, and I think I can't get in trouble for this anymore. So don't send me to IA. I don't work there anymore. But I'm going down. I was going down pretty fast because I got to get from point to point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this car stops in the middle of the road, gets out, and this girl's like flagging me down. I'm like getting hailed. So I stop. I'm like, yes, Officer Galt here. What do you need? And she's like, man, you fine as fuck. I was like, come on, bro. Is somebody dying or something like that? She's like, no, I'm just trying to see if you got a baby mama. I was like, no, you're not on my scale. I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, I was like, what makes you think that you can tolerate me?
What was in your brain? What made you think that this was a good idea?
I'm a 10.
Remotely.
Yeah, I'm not bragging, but
remotely think that this is a good idea.
We're blessed with some stuff, right? So I'm thinking, it's like, what's going through your mind? It's like, you see what I look like. You know what you look like. You look like you about 3 chicken wings from
trying real hard,
weighing on a boat. You know what I mean?
Trying real hard. Oh my God.
So I'm not even going to tell you my stalker story. That stuff was hilarious. I loved it. It was funny.
So smart goals.
It's smart.
Back to what we're talking about.
Yeah. So just make it achievable. And then doing it in a relevant time. Don't say you want to lose 60 pounds in the next 10 days.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So you spread it out over time.
I mean, you could. You just might end up in the hospital
if you
on
lose
the 11th day.
Yeah. So I had H. pylori, and I lost 30 pounds in about a month.
Yeah.
And I wasn't eating.
It's terrible.
I couldn't eat at all.
Yeah. It's terrible.
I looked great. You know what I mean? But I lost,
Yeah. And it's just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel horrible. But yeah, that's realistically, I mean, unless you chop your leg off or something. So
yeah, ain't nobody want to do that.
Nope.
We all like a pirate over here.
2 is start small, right?
Yep.
Like I said, I don't come out and be like, oh yeah, I want to, lose 150 pounds in the next 6 months. You know what I mean? My job is to emphasize small training sessions because everybody wants to come in. It's like, I want blah, 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 blah. Workouts like, no, realistically, you only need 10 reps for a certain exercise that you're compound moving and stuff like that. Then if you're doing accessory work, mobility work, and we'll incorporate that and stuff in there. But, if you do anything more than, 10 sets, a lot of times you're doing more damage than you are doing anything good.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I picked up on even the starting small aspects, kind of like what we talked about, like with the consistency piece, right? Like doing those small, simple things, right, will eventually translate to larger, bigger scale things that you make a lifestyle habit of, right? Yep. Like I go to the gym and, everybody wants to start off like doing, a soul crushing hour and a half, like workout session, right? Yep. Like, and there are times for that, like definitively, like there's really good times where that's effective and works, but like the consistent and attainable aspect of that, it's not. Like I can't go to the gym and just crush it for 2 hours every single day.
No.
Out the gate, right?
Nope.
I can build up to that for sure. Like that's what, the higher level bodybuilders do, like the higher level professional athletes and the 1% type individuals. Like if I want to get to that point, like I can get to that point, but like I can't start doing an 8-hour chest and bicep day.
Could you imagine?
It sounds amazing.
That would be.
That's like the bro lift.
If you did that, you'll probably have like 34 Ds.
I'm just saying, like, it just,
you would have to wear a bra for like the next.
Be like week. So pumped. Like I did a workout. Was the other day before work, and I was like, oh, I got to shave before work, so do my thing, and did a workout, and I ended with. I did your workout, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do like superset of. It was when I did that max on bench, and then I was like, I'm gonna end up with some bicep curls, like just I like doing curls, and so like I was doing my thing, just crushed it, and I was like, all right, cool, good workout.
Yeah, you pay for that.
And then I was like, oh no, I can't move my arms enough to touch my neck.
You did it to yourself.
But it was also awesome. Like it was the best feeling ever. I was like, man, I'm super pumped up. Like, this is fantastic. I don't know how I'm going to shave. Yeah, it's probably going to look like crap, but it is what it is. And it was amazing.
So believe it or not, that's the hardest thing I have to fight is everybody trying to add something to it.
I know, yeah.
And I have to do like, so with me, I try to think this stuff through. So it takes me a while because I program everybody separate.
Right.
So specific to them, what their goal is. And I just don't do cookie cutter workout.
Just generic workout.
Yeah, so I can't do generic. It's just not in me. I care too much, and I'm in a position to where I only train so many people so I can keep that.
Right.
And then, but everybody, I probably received like 5-7 texts this week talking about, hey, can I add this in there? I was like, no, just do what you got to do. Then hit me up afterwards. And they were like, oh my God, you were so right. I do feel that, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I did that.
The biggest thing I fight about is like, everybody thinks nothing happened unless they're sore. And that's the biggest mistake that anybody can go through is because
I think that all the time.
Don't rate your soreness based on the quality of the workout.
I think that all the time.
So
I think that all the time.
You're crazy.
I'm not sore.
Right. But
as is over here, like, you're a freaking idiot.
So you got to be able to live, you know what I mean? So my ultimate thing is for you guys to be able to work out and do your own programming, which sucks, by the way, because you're just sitting like, oh, what do I want to do? Then you'd be like, I'll do a cutty cut. I'll just cut corners. But
I cut corners a lot.
Yeah. Is to get down to 2-3 days a week working out full body or, segmented if you want to do spot check or whatever like that. But most people have lives, especially with cops. You got to be able to do that stuff. So 2 to 3 days a week and have the rest of the week to do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But that's the biggest fight I have with everybody, So you short, focused workouts, bro. So like if somebody who hasn't worked out, they want to come in and like, I want this 2-hour long. It's like, no, I'm going to give you 15 minutes because I gave you an hour one. You're not going to do it. And you're going to lie and say you logged it in, but you didn't log it in. Then you're going to get discouraged. Then I have to reach out to you. Then I reach out to you and you're like, oh yeah, well, then you're not going to answer my call. So I have to keep calling you to get you going and stuff like that. Cause
I feel very attacked right now.
Well, you and like, this is my day. I have gray hairs because of this. You know what I mean? I'm like, people reaching out. It's like, oh, I'm motivated. I'm ready. And then month 3, it's just like crickets. And you're like dodging me, straight dodging me.
Well, I don't dodge you. I'll own it.
Yeah.
I'll own it. But
a lot of them are like, oh, I was in the bathroom or I was with the kids or something like that. That's like for 3 days.
For 3 days?
Yeah.
That's a long shit, bro.
Right? Must have been nice. It was orgasmic. All right. I guess we'll keep that one too.
That's hilarious.
Building a routine.
All right. So on the routine side. So setting those like small achievable goals, right? Knocking out the simple things, like we said before, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
Like how we would love more alcohol.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just ruin that would be fantastic.
Just be proactive and do it.
Drinks,
right?
Drinks.
If anybody doesn't know, that was our producer, director, assistant.
We need a bell.
Oh, if you get a bell, it's just Puerto Rican. She would stab somebody probably. So my sniper buddy.
I feel like I'm too nice to get stabbed.
Shit. So my sniper bought a Todd.
Isaiah wants to stab me right now. I feel like
Todd had a snipe. So every time I come home, I call. It's like, hey, I'm walking up. Like I've been shot, stabbed, blown up.
You're like, I'm trying to do that again.
Nah, it's like I know. I know what I'm going to be like in a fight.
Yeah,
I know what's going to happen. I was like, look, I don't want to go through all that and have my wife take me out.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just think about that, bro. My legacy is going to be like, oh yeah, who's this awesome warfighter and worked in the top 5 most dangerous city in the world, and he's a sniper and gang guy, and came home to his wife and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's how we'll all go out.
Like I'm filing a DV report with like 2 black guys and a bloody lip crying.
What happened was?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Every time, man. So DVs are the freaking worst, bro.
Oh.
I hate DVs. And when you come into a workout, if you don't want to do it, at least do 2 exercises so that you're staying consistent that you actually went into the...
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So there's a trick for you from the moral of the story.
Yes.
If you don't want to work out, get your booty into the gym and at least do 2 two movements. There's a trick for that.
And that's the thing that like I found is like with the whole like consistency piece and like the building a routine, like the starting small, like having that thank you, that short attainable goal, right? Your SMART goal. Delicious is like I find times where like I don't want to go to the gym, right? Like I let the mental terrorists are starting to win, right? Yep. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go do my thing, right? And even if I get there and I'm like trudging through the workout, like once I get started, I'm like, that wasn't as terrible as like the mental terrorist told me it was going to be.
Most of the time I end up doing a better workout.
For sure. So
just do it.
Like the routine aspect, like I know I got to get to the gym. I got 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes an hour, whatever that time frame I have built out in is. And then even if like I don't want to be there, like just go through the motions. Cause even if it just winds up being a day where like all I do is go through the motions, at least you're going through the motions at the gym.
Yeah.
You're going to get some sort of like incremental benefit from that.
So what is taught is if you go to the gym and you're at work, they say, even if you don't want to go, drive to the gym and sit in the parking lot.
Yep.
Sit in the parking lot.
Oh.
Right? So you're training yourself. Then as soon as you get there, you're like, well, I'm freaking here.
Yep.
I might as well do something.
90% of the way done.
Yep.
Like I just walk in the door. Well, I'm here at the door.
Yep.
The bench is open.
The bench is never open.
I'm going to do the workout, right? Like
well, I shouldn't say that.
The equipment that I'm designated to use is available. Let's use that designated equipment.
I tell you what, if you work out with Roll High Roll Fitness, the bench, the squat rack is always open. Not because nobody's working on it, it's because it's my own personal gym and I only let select people come in.
That's fair. It's a members only club.
Members
invite only.
VIP, baby. All right, so that was building a routine. Tracking your progress, bro.
Why is that remotely important?
Tracking it's not. So if you're coming into it in the beginning and you're just coming into it and you're not dedicated in it, that's going to overwhelm you and it's going to frustrate you. Then you're going to do it wrong. Then you get totally discouraged.
Cheating on reps.
Yeah, but I mean, so this portion really comes into more with nutrition, right? So you're tracking your progress, right? Or stepping on a scale. Everybody, when they step on a scale, they don't realize too, and I do the same thing too. So I don't like stepping on a scale. I go off how my clothes fit and my taping and how I look aesthetically.
Right.
But that's because I have something about me that, most people that work out and that you have the same thing. We hate our bodies.
Yeah.
So that what drives us.
Not a fan.
Yes. Right. So it drives us and everybody. So we are at somewhere where someone would die to be at. And we hate the way we look and we think we need to be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So I constantly have to remind people, it's like, yes, I understand what you're doing. I understand what you're feeling. I feel the same way, but you got to remember your body is someone else's dream body.
Right.
Right. So if someone else's dream body is your body, that means you're doing something right. Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean you're not in a good place. Right. So if you try to track too much in the beginning, it's going to drive you nuts.
Yeah.
You're going to get overwhelmed with the macros.
Like the counting macros and like when I'm going to eat and all that stuff. And like, that's important. Like it's not important, but like there's like a time and place for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the thing for me with like the progress tracking, whether it's like PRs in workouts or like even in the shooting space, like I try to keep a pulse on like what my cold skills are, because like we go out and shoot, right? And we do a cold drill and you might crush it on the cold drill and smoke me. Well, that could just be like, on Thursday, June 27th, like this is Bo's cold drill. Oh shit. Like maybe June 27th wasn't Bo's even mediocre day, right? Or
you had bubble guts that day.
Right. There's all kinds of things, but like your cold drill, your cold standards are your cold standards. Like it's a metric, it's a benchmark, it's something to take note of. Like, hey, this is how I felt. This is where that progress landed. Like at the gym, there would be times like I know when I was doing I went back and did the SWAT fitness test and like wasn't really feeling it that day. Like it was kind of off, a little banged up. And I was like, like I feel like I'm at like cold starting out a good 80% and had like slightly better numbers than what I had before, but I felt like it should have been significantly better. We're
going to have to ask all the people in the audience to actually silence their phones, please. Thank you for interrupting.
That bad boy.
We're going to take a break and we may cut this out or may not, but right. As Bo takes off his pants, he's trying to get us more fans
for my tactical OnlyFans.
So I learned a lot from that, from precision shooting.
Yeah.
So sniper, designated marksman, or however you want to call it, the very first shot is cold bore.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of taught me, it's like, okay, from the very first shot I shoot out of this rifle, this is where it's typically going to go. And mine was always high and left. Right. So high and left in precision shooting, you're outside that 1-inch box or whatever like that. Or you may be inside that 1-inch box, but you're in a corner.
You're not ideal.
Yeah. You're not where you want to be. Right. So no one's really where they want to be when the cold bore shot. But that taught me a lot about just anything in life. Is like that very first round comes out, who knows where it's going to go until you have this precision. Because down with precision shooting, every round, you count every round that comes out of that rifle.
Yep.
Right. So once you warm up, it starts to tighten down.
Yep.
So that goes into with training too. It's like, your very first one you do is you're all over the place. You could kind of guess where it's going to go. You could kind of guesstimate, but then
you have a good understanding of like, especially like once you build in the reps. And I think this is where like the cold standard or the cold starts are important. Like in the tracking, like if I know that I'm going to put rounds high and left, or say my build drill cold, like for me, my build drill cold is about 212 to 220, right? Yep. So 2.2 or 2.1 out of the bucket. Cold build drill where I'm seeing the sights, watching the gun do the gun thing.
You got to tell me what a build drill
and
is,
solving that vision problem. So build drill is like at 7 yards, draw 6 rounds A zone, right? So for me, like my cold is that 212, like 210 to about 2.25. Like that's kind of the window that I fall in. Start the range cold, and what my goal is to get my cold drill sub 2 seconds.
Yep.
Now, when I'm doing reps in training, right, on the shooting side, I can get to where I'm shooting a build drill at sub 175, which is super doable, and I can see the sights and watch the vision and solve the vision problem and handle that process. But cold is what's going to be tested during like the work application. Cause like before work, I don't get to go and shoot 50 to 100 rounds at the range, right? I don't get to, knock off the rust or do those things. Like I have to be able to perform on demand at that time, solve the vision problem, which is what shooting is. And so what I do with the shooting thing is the same thing I do with the fitness thing, is like, I want my cold standard to be a very high performing bar. Well, how do I get that to that high performing bar? Well, I have to be able to put in exponentially more working out so that my cold standard will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because that on-demand skill when I need it, cold, is what it's going to be, right? I'm not going to be able to like get out and do a couple like lunges and warm my ankles up and then stretch my hips out before I get out of the car and get in the foot pursuit, right? I have to slam the car in park, bail out of the door, and then I'm going from a full-on seated position, throw the seatbelt off, and then now I'm at a dead-ass sprint. So I need that dead-ass sprint speed to be as close to my training speed as I can, like, and having the flexibility and having the mobility that I need to A, not injure myself, right? Like we've talked about before, like that's where having the physicality of like, I set my SMART goal, right? I set my initial starting small process, and then that builds to a medium process and a larger process. And then I have a routine that's helping facilitate whatever my individual SMART goal is, thanks to you, by the way. And then have the progress tracking where I'm like, hey, this is what my cold standard is, and this is what my peak performance is.
Yeah.
Well, I want those things to be as close as they can. And the only way I'm going to get my cold skills up or my cold standard up is to increase the peak performance. They're never going to match. They're never going to match. But I can get them as close as I can through the training process.
It's funny because I was fortunate enough to be in a city to where like, dang, I said like again, but where a lot of crime happened. And I was getting multiple foot pursuits or chases and stuff like that a day. So it's like, I'm looking at my step count, I'm like 33,000 or something like that. You know what I mean? But I had one foot pursuit to warm up and another one to, you know, it's like, all right, we've been warmed a little off of that. You're running, and it's based off of what the city provided me. But like you said, you got to be ready for that kind of stuff. And so you have to.
At the drop.
Yeah, you got to be at the drop. You got to ready to go. You know it's going to happen. A lot of times when you go to these smaller cities or these towns, like we have towns like that in California as well, as where it's not as active as where I was at. But, you know, and I would talk to the gangsters too, and the gangsters would be like, man, we don't go to Walnut Creek because we're scared of getting shot. They don't act like you guys. They're scared. So when you guys will fight us, they will shoot us.
Yeah. And
that's just different levels of, you know, I'm encountering people with guns every day, right? People fighting me every day. You know, it's not uncommon for me when I came on shift to have like 15, 20 calls holding.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like, oh, barking dog. It's domestic violence, a simple assault, or a home invasion, or a robbery and a shooting. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, my very first call as a police officer was a dead body. And as soon as I left that, it was a homicide. Red, Alvin Torres, 7th Street, where he got shot in the head. And he went to do candy, and he was riding his bike, and a rival gang member come over and shot him in the head. And when he rolled over, he had the gummy bears or the gummy worms still in his mouth and stuff like that. Rolled over, we're like, dang, he didn't get to finish his gummy worm. You know? So I mean, this is stuff like that. You know what I mean? You're going from
those Harboros are real
0
good
to 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. Yep. But this stuff, you got to be prepared for that.
Yeah. And that all ties back into like, and this could be a whole nother topic in and of itself, right?
Maybe a future podcast.
Talking about the ownership piece, right? Of what this job / career like entails. Cause like unfortunately, like the department doesn't have the time, money, or resources to give you the training that you need, right? Your agency, right, was how many guys y'all have like fully effective if you had every position filled?
Oh man, we tried to get to we were slotted for 208. We only had 160.
So 208. Like we're sitting at 55, 50 total.
How
right?
many people in the city?
22,000, something like that.
Yeah, so we had 145,000.
Yeah. So, and that probably should have been like in the 500 ballpark. Yeah. Like I think if you're looking at what the agencies have, you know, what they're authorized for, like staffing wise, you know, For ours, it's 50 to 55, and they're not going to be able to send guys to, you know, sign up with a personal trainer and sign up, you know, them at a jiu-jitsu gym, and them sign up at a MMA gym or Muay Thai, or, you know, the combination of the two, or send you to the amount of training that you need, right? They're going to do the bare minimum to check the box they need to check for the standards and recognitions, right? Which are important, right? There's minimum standards are important, but like as you've seen and I've seen, is like that standard just seems to like get lower and drop pretty consistently.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right? So that's where it's important for guys in this field and gals in this field to take ownership of, you know, finding something that works for them, right? Like a training program or a firearms program, or not just like, you know, their Instagram Jesus, right? Because like that's, I love social media. It's a lie. I don't like social media. But social media has done this like crazy thing with, you know, like, well, the only person I train with is like my Instagram Jesus, right? Like he's shown me the way. And it's like, well, that's one area of this job that might come into play, right? You know, they're like, my combatives coach came from LAPD, was Crash and did all that good fun stuff, and jiu-jitsu, black belt, high level Muay Thai, bunch of catch wrestling. And his big thing for me, like when I started training with him, I was like, bro, like you're the dude I'm gonna train with. Like this stuff's on point. He's like, hey, I have some answers. He was like, but these other dudes are really switched on in their space. You need to not just train with me, train with these other people. And I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Like I want to try to take in as much as I can. And that's where I've kind of tried to translate how I teach my shooting stuff, is like, I try to pull and go train with like the dudes that are the best at USPSA.
Yeah.
Well, they'd never been a cop. Like Joey Sauerland, never been a cop.
Yep.
He was like a bodybuilder before he was like, oh, USPSA sounds neat.
Yeah.
And then 4 years later became a national champ, right? Well, he's a super high level shooter, but has never carried a gun as a professional.
Yep.
But I can learn from him as a shooter that will help my job as a gun carrying professional, right? I can go to, you know, Rodrigo Pinheiro, right? Which is where I train jiu-jitsu at, and learn how to control somebody who doesn't want to be controlled from a dude who's never carried a gun in his life.
Yeah.
He's a jiu-jitsu professional. And then the thing that like I've loved about working with like your programming is like, you understand the space of the shooting, of the copping, and like been through your own like physical trials and errors of being banged up from pushing a black and white. And it's like, hey, this is why A, B, and C works really well. And so that kind of brings us to like 0.5, right? Which is like finding a good training program, right?
Yeah. So even me as a trainer, I have a trainer. And I do multiple programs, so because I don't know everything, and I'll learn more things. Oh, that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. My past experience. So, for a lot of people that's going out there, they're going after the big names. They go after what they're doing.
Instagram Jesus.
Yeah, Instagram Jesus, or you know, these professional CrossFitters, which are really good at what they do,
for sure.
But a lot of times they're 5'3", short arms, really have enough time to do what they do, and they're not these other people's body types.
Right.
And cops are totally different. Firefighters are totally different. First responders are totally different. Yeah. The person who works at a desk is totally different, right? So you really have to find someone that's willing to work with you. And that's why I don't, like me, and like I don't want to push myself, but I want
to push your stuff. Your stuff's dope. I love it.
But I don't want to get too big. The reason why I don't want to get too big, because I don't want to start pushing out generic stuff. You fall into this category, so I'm going to put you with this program.
Right.
You know, and I was talking to someone today, and they were like, yeah, this other program's like $130 or something like that a month. You know, it seemed like a little bit much. I don't feel comfortable paying with him. That he's never been a cop. You know, I'm trying out for the SWAT thing. I want to do this. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because I was on SWAT. I know what it takes to get there. And I know, you know, I mean, it's like, well, a lot of people don't understand is when you're lifting weights in the gym, it's static, right? And a lot of times it's balanced. How often do you pick up a suspect that's static and balance.
All of the time.
Right? So that crackhead, that's fighting you. I guarantee you, it's like, there was like, why does it take like 15 cops? Because nobody's ever fought somebody that's been fighting. You're taking this person's will and his life away. You're taking his freedom away. Yeah. Right? They're going to fight tooth and nail to fight you and take yours away or get away.
And they're going to do weird spazzy shit.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Crackheads do weird crackhead things.
Some weird stuff.
Ain't nobody move like that, bro. Like, why are you moving that way?
Bro, hey, I'm sorry. This is funny. So we went to go do a probation search on a house, right? So we roll up to the house. We're all knocking on the Richmond police search warrant, or not search warrant, police probation search, open up the door, whatever like that. And there was a person across the street. And after I was banging on the door for like 2 minutes, because you have to do the knocking and whatever like that, the person's like,
official.
He ain't there no more. We're like, what the fuck? The person that we're looking for is on the second story window, jumps off the roof, jumps over us. So we turn around. This dude's running like this.
Bro.
Gets in the car. We're like, what the fuck? Gets in the car, starts taking off. My buddy Riri is like banging on the window, trying to bust it open. It's not doing anything. So we're coming around the corner. We're thinking he's getting shot at. So we come up like this, about to, put rounds into the car. And he's like, nah, it's me banging on the window. And the car takes off. And the crackhead across the street still laughing at us. Like, I told you he wasn't there. And we're like, you should have told us he jumped out a freaking window. We got him down the street. But it's like, that was the funniest thing in the world. That dude jumps over us, jumps over the whole stack, gets in the car. You have two officers chase after him. We think he's getting shot at. We're coming up like that. And he's like, no, we're good. And he like takes off. And it's like, bro, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I deal with this. And this is one of the things that like I love about jiu-jitsu, but also hate about jiu-jitsu is like after, like I got promoted to blue belt, right? Then got promoted to purple. And I was, still doing my training thing. And
I'm still working on my weight
roll with like new guys that show up at the gym.
I have a brown belt, but it's in the office.
And it just holds my pants up, right? No, it's just a belt. It's just, we get into that too.
I got a pimp belt.
We'd have these white belts that would show up like new guys at the gym, right? And one of the great things about jiu-jitsu is like once you start understanding the game, like like the paths that they can go. Yeah. And the thing that I like doing with like rolling with new guys, that's why I really like rolling with new guys, is they do stuff that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
Right. And that's more realistic to like what we deal with on the street is the spazzy white belt mindset of like there have been times I've been rolling and I'm like, this, purple belt. And I've been doing this for a few days and this, that, and the other. And like, I get into a topside position or knee on belly or whatever. And then they do this like spazzy thing. And I sit there and it takes me a second. I'm like,
wait a minute.
Why are you doing this? Like, this is not like, you could have gone that way or this way, but you went like ampersand side.
Like, sir, you're an idiot. You had a free pass.
I don't know like what that was, but like, that was super wild.
Yep.
But like, that's the natural human response that you're going to get from like the untrained dude that doesn't understand the game. Cause like, and the thing I like about jiu-jitsu, but also hate about jiu-jitsu is like, we've both consented to the rules of the game. Right. So like, I know that you're not going to pull a knife out and stab me.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not going to pull a knife out and stab you. Yeah. I'm not going to pull a gun out. I'm not going to bite you. Yeah. I'm not going to punch you in the face. I'm not going to do any of those things. Right. Those are all really good rules to be able to make that training space consistent. Yeah. Right. And like, I'm not going to injure you. You're not going to injure me. But white belts do some like new guys at the gym, do some spazzy stuff. And I'm like, that took a lot of energy to like, it threw my OODA loop off. I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do with my hands now.
But you recognize that.
For sure.
A lot of people, when I was an RTO, like a recruit training officer at the academy, we stressed to them every day, this is playland. This control hold is not going to work.
For sure.
If you come out and do a reverse wrist lock, like they teach you, is like if somebody pulls your gun out and they pull it at you, do a reverse wrist lock, and you'll be able to take the gun and point it back at it. And I was like, well, first of all, as soon as I grab that hand, I'm pretty sure they're going to 10-7 he's going to shoot me. It's just like those Instagram videos where the guy's
like,
the gun point.
Don't even get me started.
Come around and
there's so much with, oh God, like Krav Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Krav stuff, like, oh, because that's what we did when I was in the academy. It was like Krav Make America Great Again. And it was like, hey, if they take your gun from your holster, right, then you can do and get the gun back. And I was sitting there thinking, I remember thinking this in the academy, and I've kind of carried that with me into the defensive space that like I teach now, is how did that person get close enough to take my gun out of the holster, right? Yeah. One, right?
Well,
B, how did I miss them looking at my gun, right? Like all of the pre-assault indicators that happen.
Yeah.
There was that video that I think it was a Florida cop that he's talking to the dude, he's driving a U-Haul, and they're at the gas station, and the guy's standing there face to face with them, and like target glances the gun again, maneuvers into a better position, target glances the gun again. Like there was like 4 or 5 target glances that the cop missed out the gate. Like if you catch one of those, like, hey, why are you looking at my gun?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Or the fight starts right then. As opposed to like what cop did is like has to like turn and look at his mic, take his eyes off bad guy, and then the gun grab happens.
But see, that's someone that's not confident in what he does.
For
he
sure.
Doesn't know the law and know what he can and cannot do. I've been in the position where someone did try to grab my gun, and I've been fighting over it. I've fought them in an open field by myself forever. One, you don't need to be getting on the radio. The radio's not going to save you.
Right.
They know where you're at. They're coming.
Yeah.
Right. You can hear sirens coming in.
Handle what you need to handle
on the radio,
at that time.
yelling, doing everything you got to do. It's not going to do anything. So everything, like if you watch my body cam on that situation, I'm yelling. It's like, hey, grab my gun because my camera fell off.
Yeah.
And I'm justifying whatever I do. Every strike that we do is justified.
For sure.
Right. So I'm fighting this guy in the field. It's raining. We're slipping all over the place. I tried to tase him. That's the only time I ever tase somebody. Is after fighting with this for a little bit. I was like, well, let me try this. Didn't work. Fuck it. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right?
On to the next.
Yeah, we're tussling on the ground. Do whatever we can. He tried to grab my gun. Boom. Elbow in the back of the head. I'm not going to try to do an elbow strike and break his arm like they teach you in the academy because that's not going to freaking work. You know how hard it's those bones are so structured and it's so strong. It's like I do that, I might hurt my own self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna strike to the back of the head, try to knock him out. It doesn't fucking work. We're fighting on the ground a little more. I put my body press on him. So like you would do, like you said, you would use your body weight on top of him to suffocate him a little bit to gain momentum and try to get his arm underneath
pressure.
him. You know what I mean?
Pressure.
And wait for the cavalry to come and you're just fighting.
And a lot of times, like, and I had this with mine, with my gun grab, and it's like having the recognition now versus like then. It was like, oh my gosh, like, how did that happen? Like he grabbed my gun. Well, it was more of a target of opportunity than like an intentional like gun grab, right? Because like we had started, tackled dude to the ground, got on mount, trying to control, and he was like grabbing on me to like climb up so he could break contact and create distance. Well, like we have all of this cool stuff on our belt, which like we use as like, you know, armrests and all that good fun stuff. And it was just a target of opportunity, right? And when my gun got grabbed, it was grabbed by his left hand, right? Grabbed the butt of the pistol or the grip of the pistol. And I was like, you know, like, oh, well, if your hand's on the gun, like
by law,
I was less concerned about the weapon retention piece. Cause I was like, well, I know that like, there's gotta be a little bit more work that's gotta be done than just, you know, getting a full hand grip on the gun.
In your skills.
But his hand was here, right? Like doing the grabby grab thing, like not here doing the defendy defend thing.
Yeah.
Well, if your hands aren't up near your face, I'm going to try to give you something else to think about so that your hands do transition away from that. Right. You know, as Rick James says, like cocaine's a hell of a drug. And meth is in the same category. Right. And, you know, even with the diversionary tactics that I was employing, eventually like his hands decided that they wanted to protect his brain housing group.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things like the only reason the gun got grabbed is like most of these things, it's a target of opportunity.
And you present
even the video where the cop misses all the pre-assault indicators. The reason that his gun got grabbed is it was a target of opportunity. Yeah. There's a lower percentage of gun grab out the gate to start the fight.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to start a fight with you, I'm not going to reach for your waist. Like I'm going to hit you in the face and then grab the gun.
Well, you got to think
but
about
I'm going to display pre-assault indicators out the gate.
So a lot of times we miss that, right? So as much as we like to say, if it doesn't happen to you often, you're going to miss more things than somebody else that's more seasoned that happens. So, and I hate to keep reverting back to when I was a cop, but it happened all the time.
For sure.
So I'm more aware of it. A little bit more
acclimated to it.
Yeah, acclimated, or I'm more aware of it because it happens all the time, right? So
the complacency can't set in.
Yeah, but when I train people, so, the law is very vague. There's always certain situations where you can justify it to we're saying, if you're good at articulation, this is why I did that. But just because you can
doesn't mean you should. 100%.
Right? And if I went off of just the way I can, I'll have over like 600 shooting, at least. Because every time I encountered a gun, I would have took, you know what I mean?
Could have articulated it in a justifiable manner.
And it would have been good, but how would I be mentally?
For sure.
And what type of person would I be representing my,
for sure,
department? And, you don't want someone like that out there just going out there to be gun-ho.
Yep.
And I told, everybody's
no pun intended.
Let's go try it again. You do this or do that. It's like, bro, it only takes one bullet to kill you, bro. Only takes one stray bullet.
Yep. And bad guys don't got to be good. Like, they just got to be lucky.
Yep.
And like, unfortunately, like, we have to be good.
Yep.
We can't err on the side of like luck.
Nope.
There was oh man, what state was it? It was the one where, and it wound up being a good shooting simply by luck.
Yeah.
Husband had like either killed the wife or beat her brakes off and like kidnapped the kid. Walking on the side of the road, it's all snowy. You know what I'm talking? Have you seen that video? Holding like this 4-year-old little girl. Guy makes contact with him and he has this machete, starts attacking the cop, and the cop does this like retreating, like wham, 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 puts a couple rounds into the dude. How he didn't hit the kid? No idea. Like, in my opinion,
I seen that. Yeah.
Straight luck.
Yep.
And everybody's like, "Oh man, he did such a good job." And I'm like, "What? But did he?"
Yeah.
But really? Like I'm not knocking the guy, but you have a low percentage target you're shooting, and you want to take a retreating stance where you disconnect your body from the gun.
Yeah. You're blind shooting.
And then hope it works out. Right? Because there was the other OIS that happened where they go to that domestic, the mom's all methed out or cracked out or whatever her deal was, has warrants or something like that, has the kid that she's holding in the bedroom and grabs a knife off of the end table after she just gotten that domestic, and they wind up getting into a shooting with her and shoot her and the kid. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, we're inside of 3 yards.
Yeah.
Like, manage the space and control what can hurt and or kill you. We don't need to create distance. Anyways, so it just
there's a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. Like I was talking to another officer who's probably, it's a different city and they don't have as much going on too. And it was a video of this, I guess it was like a van trying to get through this crowd, and it wasn't even a big crowd. And one protester walks in front of it, and this cop just comes over and like, doesn't even reap throw him, just throws him on the ground and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's a little excessive. You know what I mean? He was just standing in front of the van, put him in handcuffs, push him out the way, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But the dude throws him on the ground and it's like, what do you mean? That was awesome. I was like, no, that wasn't freaking awesome.
A little bit of emotional bled into the
you know what I mean? It's like that person, from what I can see, there's no pre-indicators that he did anything to harm. All he was doing is standing in front of a car.
Yeah.
So when you go before a use of force board, or if you go before a judge, and that person would have fell and bumped his head and killed himself, or not killed himself, but died off of that, when you throw him on the ground, be like, what threat did he do to anybody's life? Nothing. He stood in front of a car that was going 5 miles per hour that was stopped because he stood in front of it.
Yeah.
And you had the necessity to go and grab him and pull him away from the danger.
Yep.
The only danger he was posing was to himself.
Yep.
But you came over and you exacerbated the situation by throwing the person.
And I think that's where like the kind of going full circle, right? I'm gonna try to full circle this bad boy, right? Yeah. Like with how you program your training, right? And I know this was primarily focused on, and we went off on some tangents, and we're gonna try to full spectrum this bad boy. I'm gonna try to wordsmith it up a little bit here.
I'm not good at the wordsmith. I don't know how it is.
Is talking about the fitness side of things, right? Like setting your goals, right? Achievable, attainable, SMART goals, right? Stuff that's specific, manageable, achievable. We got a cheat sheet over here. You can't see it. We got it. Sorry. Specific, manageable, achievable, relevant, and then timely, right? Have some sort of end goal. So establishing whatever that small start is to kind of get the ball rolling to where we're not getting overwhelmed out the gate quickly. Yep. Establishing some sort of routine, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, 1 day a week, whatever. Then that starts to build into a bigger routine from our small individualized goal. So having those small individualized goals and then understanding where my cold start is or my progress tracking, how that kind of falls into play. Then having a good training program that's something that's consistent, repeatable, and predictable. Those are the 3 things that I want in my shooting. Those are the 3 things that I want in my fitness. Those are the 3 things that I want in my hard skills. So all of those things, right? If you isolate that in the fitness side, the concepts and principles are the same. I can do the same thing with my jiu-jitsu programming. Yeah. I can do the same thing with my shooting programming, which starts to build into this internal transmission of alleviating the subjectivity of how I process problems. Yeah. Because the problem processing in the law enforcement space or in the critical incident space is an emotional problem that requires a technical solution. Yep. Right? If somebody's coming up and gonna mug me as a civilian, right? They want to do nefarious bad guy things, right? That's an emotional problem that requires some sort of technical solution. Whether it's empty hand skills, whether it's hard skills with the pistol, whether it's hard skills with the hands, right? But I have to have the fitness to be able to support me in that process.
Let's clarify it up. You're not talking about just mug you. You're talking about making somewhere for the movie because we don't give a fuck.
No, but I'm saying if somebody comes up and they're like, "Hey, give me your wallet," right?
Yeah, you get mugged. That's different than mugging you. Okay, so that's all right. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about in the mug. Not
95% of the world's like,
not somebody that's like, "Hey, that shirt looks dumb," right? Somebody just like looking you up and down.
Because I thought that too. I was like, this motherfucker talking about
look you up and down with your shirt.
All right, well, I mean, Texas is different than California, but somebody's had prison time.
Somebody's trying to do some sort of like robbery, right? Crime against a person, that type deal. Threatening force or whatever the case may be. So having the prerequisite hard skills or experience, right, which you can gain through training, which you can gain through like OJT, like on the job training aspect as well of, now I'm not telling you to go out there and like, hey, go to the shitty dive bar and get into fights with people. That is not what I'm saying.
Yeah, unless you're on training, you're trying to train
unless you want to, unless you're trying to doing that with PPOs. Yeah.
You got to find what they get.
But like if you're Joe, like the civilian gun carrying individual, and you're like, you know what, I want to test myself. Don't go to the bar and test yourself at the bar.
Don't find
not the place to do it. Right. So, but having those like individualized SMART goals in not just like the fitness space, but like in the hard skill space as well, starts to bleed out some of that subjectivity. Because I know like starting out in the fitness space, like that's for me, like that's where it started. Like I knew like I needed to be in better shape, which is important. So like I started doing CrossFit and, you know, got the encyclopedia bodybuilding books and blah, blah, blah. And like to get bigger and stronger. And then I was like, Bibles. Well, like being fit is cool.
Yeah.
But like knowing how to fight is also kind of a neat thing. Like maybe, because I remember when I started jiu-jitsu, I was a big CrossFitter, right? 225 pound, 6'1" CrossFit dude. And so I showed up at the jiu-jitsu gym.
Building fat.
And there was this little 135 pound girl, Hannah. She was a blue belt at the time. 17, went to high school here in town. And I was like, all right, I'll go easy on you. Cause like I outweighed her by a good 100 pounds, almost. And I'd be lying to you if I'd say it took her 15 seconds to like get me into an arm bar and like tap my ass out. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna smash you this time. Well, then I'm getting choked out. I'm like, well, this sucks. I outweigh this 135 pound girl like by 100 pounds. Oh, why is this happening?
You weren't thinking that until you woke back up again.
Yeah, it was super rough. I was like, I ain't tapping.
So basically,
went to sleep.
what he said and what I'm saying, I'll summarize it, is win the freaking fight. Prepare to win the fight. And that's what 100%. We teach all of everybody, is to win the fight. Don't give yourself that chance to lose. Give that chance beforehand to win the fight.
Yep.
50% of clients quit within the first month or 3 months of working out, and 80 within the first couple of years.
Yep.
Stick to it. Keep going. You fall off, get back on. Realistic goals, start small, build a routine, progress tracking, find a good trainer or a program, or find multiple ones, someone that can relate to you and stuff like that, and advance and keep moving on and be safe and have fun and live life and then work out and do everything that you can do and come home to your family and annoy them or ignore them or watch TV or do whatever you can, or
all the above.
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yep, 100%.
You know what I mean? But be badass, win these fights,
just get after it.
Wear that badge and that uniform with pride.
Yep.
Wear that roll high, roll fitness with pride or whatever like that.
A little roll, aim, lift action.
The 303 solutions when you go out and shoot and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's what we do. You know what I mean? We're out there progressively trying to get better. And in a nutshell, all I can say is win the fight.
Yep. And like on the win the fight note, last thing I'm going to say is train for the fight, right? The train like you fight, like for whatever reason, that phrase just drives me bonkers. Cause like if we were training for the fight, like I said before, like you'd get a Glock and I'd get a Glock and like we just go at it, right? And then one of us would win and one of us wouldn't. But training for the fight, like my workout should be harder than what I'm going to have to deal with in the critical incident. My shooting, I should be training harder than what it should look like in the shooting space. My combatives should be harder than what it is in the fighting space. So I want to train for the fight so that when the fight comes, the fight's an easy day.
You got to look at it too. So with like the Navy SEALs, DevGru, and all, most of the military and stuff like that, they're leading the pack because they're looking at they're in. I can't say they're in more constant war than we are as on the streets. You're fighting every day on the street
for sure,
but
it's like a 365-day year deployment.
They usually tend to set the precedents and the trends
for sure.
So the Navy SEALs, DevGru, everybody like that, they were training a lot, and then they got in the fight and they're like, we have been training totally wrong this whole freaking time. And now, PT changed from long distance running, multiple push-ups and sit-ups and all that kind of stuff to short burst, high interval training, throwing big weight around, all that kind of stuff. Now it's changing back. You know what I mean? Because we're thinking about war with Russia. We're thinking about war with North Korea and China and all that kind of stuff. So going back to trench warfare, right? So now you're huffing and puffing. You're not doing so much air assaulting into these big places because it's going to go back to kind of like fighting in these big spaces where you're camping out for a couple of days, doing those type of things. So your endurance is a little bit more important. You know what I mean? So they're setting the trend. It's just, you have to learn how to fight differently.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You have to be well-versed, especially on the streets. Like you said, we're fighting 365.
Yep.
Bro, we don't get to turn it off.
And understanding like the space that you're working in too, right? Like for you in Richmond, like what was your backup time frame? Like how long was it taking for a cover unit to show up?
Seconds, man.
Seconds.
It's seconds.
Right? You look at these guys that are working these like rural communities. Like when I was in Atascosa, if I was on the southeast end of the county and I'm in a fight, like if I tone out 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes running code, guys running a $120 to me, because we had 5 deputies working, if I knew the number, I'd be a better person. But like the 50 or 60 square miles or 100 square miles of county that we had, that was, we had 5 guys at the best, right? And even if the city guys are showing up, like the next closest city is Jordanton, right? And they're still 20 minutes out.
Yep.
So my training had to be different versus being in a larger agency where I'm 60 seconds, which is a long response time, right? If my cover takes 60 seconds, I'm like, bro, like, did you have to finish the whole cup of coffee before you came to help me out? Right? Like, that's kind of where I'm at now. But like before, it was like, they could have been already on the way and it's still going to take them 20, 30 minutes. So understanding like the space that you're working in is how you set those realistic goals.
So I've been fortunate enough, and I say fortunate because, you know, I mean, anybody who's been in the fire, the shit, or whatever like that, I would think that you would say, like, man, the worst call you can ever go to is 1199, which is officer down.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've only been to that possibly 5 times in my career. One of them, or actually 2 or 3 of them, was in Richmond, and one of them was simultaneously 2 separate events. It was an officer down off a traffic collision responding to a call of a shooting of another officer. And one happened right before I got there. And the one that I'm referring to is the guy was a motor cop, came over, he got messed up. Car hit him, boom, flipped up in the air, boom. As another officer was shooting a guy that was coming at him with, I think it was a knife or something like that. And he just lit him up and he was going down. So within that time frame, you got San Francisco, you got Pitt, you got Antioch, you have Walnut Creek, you have Concord, you have San Francisco, you have Daly City, you know, Sacramento, Cocoa. You know what I mean? You have 10 or 15 agencies that will be able to get to you within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
San Francisco's 45 minutes to an hour away.
Yeah.
Code 3 run,
and they're going to be there.
Siren, they're right there.
Yep.
There was a call in LA. They sent us down. We started heading down to LA. I mean, people were all down to freaking almost to Fresno by that time. You know what I mean? So just handle your business. Get off the freaking radio. Put out the initial stuff that you have to go to. Your car's a coffin. Your radio's a crutch.
Yep.
Handle your business.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything else we can say, man.
I don't either.
How you feeling?
I feel great.
I feel great too. I feel good. Feels good. It's like all the time I'm like, man, when are we gonna do the next show? And it's like everybody's always asking. It's like, when's the next one? I was like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You know, we do have to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean, we have busy lives, man. A lot of people trying to pull us different ways. We both have 2 companies, businesses that we're trying to work on and stuff like that. Trying to get
adulting sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with kids.
That's facts.
And
facts.
So I thought raising a kid was bad, but trying to raise a grown man in the house.
Oh,
bro. Like, bro, no. It's like, you're 18, bro. You got to get out the house, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, why you
graduated too,
shoes, bro? I bought that for me.
Yeah. Those are my shoes.
You a grown man, bro.
Yeah.
Put your shirt back on.
Yeah.
Get out of here, bro.
Why are you doing that?
I'm trying to bow up. Go take out the trash. Okay. Motherfucker trying to, you ain't gonna beat me, bro. I'm definitely not the dude to test.
My goal, and like that's the whole like part of this like fitness thing. Like my goal is to be able to physically dominate my children as long as humanly possible.
Oh man, I guarantee you, I would tie my son up.
Have you
slap the shit out of him just to bake him down so that I win?
Have you seen those? There's like the TikTok trend or Instagram trend or whatever, where like the dad does like a foot race with his kids on their birthday every year.
Does he let him win?
And just dominates them.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was about to
dominates them. I was like, oh, that's gonna be me.
Bro,
100%.
I made the mistake.
I want to dominating my kids.
I always beat my kids in basketball. My son beat him every time, and my mom's like, it's probably the worst advice I think I ever gotten. I knew I shouldn't listen to her anyway. You know what I mean? I've been on my own since I was 15-year-olds, and it's been like, I'm not gonna say like she didn't teach me good stuff, but like her and my dad, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's been sparingly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But bro, she's like, let him win. I was like, no. She's like, we'll build his confidence. So play a game, basketball, I let him win. Sure enough, this mofo starts talking shit.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, all right, run it back. Yep. I think I destroyed that dude so free. Oh my God. It's like, bro. And I even told him, I was like, bro, I let you win that to get your confidence up.
Here's the thing. And this is what I've recognized is like the whole like letting them win thing. Like, yeah, like there's time frames like where I could see that come in play. You know what I mean? Like your kid's 4 or 5. Like when I would play games with Haley when she was little, like I wouldn't say I'd like let her win, but like I'll play it like that level.
Yeah.
Right? I'll play 5 or 6-year-old level. Now when you get into like where she's at now, like 13, 14-year-old range, like we were working out at the PD the other day and she's like, I'm stronger than you are. And I was like, watch this. No. I was like, I'm just watch.
Yeah.
Come on, just watch. Just watch. Right? And she was like, you did how much? And I was like, it's 325. I'm just doing bench, just doing my thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, holy crap. I'm like, I'm just recognize.
Well,
like, there's a little recognition, right? But then like, you know, when she gets back into her space with her friends, right? And she's doing a lift and she's just like we were talking about earlier today, like she was working out in the garage and she was like working on her DL pulls and pulled 155 or whatever it was. And it was, I think she said it was 135, but she had 45s on and 25s on. No 10s. Yeah, 155. And she thought the bar was this, like the Bella bar, like the 35 pound, like girl bar. Well, I ain't got no girl bars in my house. Right. Like I got full grown like man bars. And so she was like, yeah, I did 140 or whatever it was. And I was like, how'd you figure that math? Yeah. She was like, oh, the bar's 35 pounds. And then I have 35 pound plates on, I put 10s on. And I was like, well, you can add an extra 10 pounds. Cause like I got a 45 pound bar like at the house. And she was like, really? Yeah. And I was like, now, so when you go back with your friends and you do like the lift thing, like you're going to crush it. Like that's more confidence than like, oh, you deadlifted more than me or you beat me at this game. So then when she goes back with her friends, cause she's been like pushing at like full grown man energy, right? Like we went out to the track and ran the other day and like just crushed it, just fast. Maybe not like man fast for me. Like I beat a 14-year-old girl. Yeah.
We gotta put her in
and she got better, right? And she was like pushing herself to go faster. And so when she goes back, I guarantee like throughout this whole power camp thing, she'll just be like, oh shit, like I'm crushing y'all. Yeah. Like y'all suck.
So last thing I'll say, and I'm pretty sure we say this last thing.
Yeah. We'll do this for the next 20 minutes.
You know what I mean? Is one of the hardest things I think is having a wife that does Olympic lifting, that does as much as lift as you can. Then she comes home, you know, from training, because we train together. Like I train her now. Yeah. Right. And anybody else who tries, any other girl that comes with it, she just straight smashes them. And I scale stuff down from when they come. And so she's not doing her full scale workout. But if she goes and does the like, you know, Spiegel or Thor's daughter or something like that, they'll beat her. You know what I mean? Because they're just
genetically different.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not saying like she can't get there, but she's not pushing that type of weight. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't train to push that type of weight because I know the limits and I, you know, where we train. But she had the audacity to be like, oh yeah, I can squat more than you, or I can squat your body weight or something like that. I was like, all right, time out.
She's over here laughing.
Yeah, because she knows it's true. I tell no freaking lie. So I was like, let's go in the freaking gym and we're going to do it right now. You know what I mean? And this is pre-hip. And I destroyed her. There's no freaking way in the world that you think every time we do like a high intensity workout, my job is to make sure I lap her. Mm-hmm. Destroy her. I am not taking friends.
Have to.
No, we're
taking souls.
I told her, I was like, all right, when he comes, I'm not going to take it easy. I'm going to go.
No, it took my soul. I was like, God damn, he's fucking.
And I hadn't done a fucking CrossFit work. And I was coming off of 6-7 months.
I was doing handstand push-ups. I wasn't doing the stupid walk. We're doing wall walks. I was doing handstand push-ups.
But like, even like her and my daughter, they both say the same stupid shit. They're where like, oh yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. She's like, oh, I beat you. I was like, you didn't you're doing 5 pounds, first of all. Yep. And you shaved like 3 reps, bro. Let's go. Come on. I'm done.
We're not emotional.
Right? Oh yeah, it gets lit. It gets lit. So Wiley X in 1690.
We'll do our sign out. We can edit some of this stuff out too.
I like it.
I do too. It's so fun.
Besides like the wife trying to get like an OnlyFans.
I know, just trying
I guess she's not the wife. She is not loyal at all, I guess.
It's all right.
She just so...
Well, as long as the money goes into the bank account, I guess that's loyalty.
Hey, well, I mean, they want to send me some money, then whatever. If I get my BMW that I crave and I never get, you know what I mean? It's Lee.
I thought I was going to wind up with a 70s Chevy, but the guy is really emotionally attached to his truck.
Really?
Yeah. Found a 3/4 ton single cab long bed, and I was like, ooh. And he was like, man, I really like this truck. And I was like, oh man, I want that so bad.
They want to do metal work on mine, but you know, after building it like 3 times, I'm kind of like, bro, I've blown it up 3 times. Can you just fix it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, all I need is like brake lines. I won't do. Yeah. Because it's stopping. That's important. Yeah. So I always send someone else, the professionals, to do it.
Yeah. So yeah. Just make the truck stop.
Yep.
All right. So do this sign out.
22-23 local town, Texas Central. Texas is playing Texas Tech, and first game of the finals we're playing today.
Yeah, they started at what, 7:40?
Yeah, we missed it, bro. Actually, we might catch like the 3rd or 4th quarter.
Tail end of it.
Game.
All right. So
go to 303 Solutions if you're looking for the shooting.
Thanks for tuning in on episode 5 of the Roll Aim Lift podcast, talking about programming. So today's episode was brought by 1693. They came through, hooked it up with some tequila. If you're looking for bourbon, whiskey, rye, tequila, all that good fun stuff, they got it hooked up, coming out from Fredericksburg, Texas. It's where they're based out of. Wiley X also hooked it up as well with got my prescription shades in. They're pretty dope.
Everybody tells me I look more mature and more intellectual.
Yes, or smarter.
Mm-hmm.
So Wiley X has the iPro swag, hats, shirts, all that good fun stuff. Use promo code 303train15 for 15% off your orders from them.
We got t-shirts now.
We got the Roll Aim Lift t-shirts. So if you want a t-shirt, hit us up on Instagram. It is at Roll Aim Lift _podcast, I believe, or the Roll Aim Lift podcast. It'll be in the description below. I'll link everything accordingly, and it'll be better than me talking out of my face hole here about it. Check out Isiah for the programming from Roll How I Roll Fitness. The fitness side of things, programming, all that good fun stuff. Check them out. For the hard skills application, you can check me out at 303solutionsllc.com. If I can get my own website correct.
Yep.
For the shooting, the fighting, all that good stuff. We're going to be having a women's law enforcement arrest control class coming up in July. Working on that with Black Diamond out of Bernie. Be out at their gym doing a 8-hour class for law enforcement females. So we got that coming up. Look for that on the website, 303solutionsllc.com, rollhowirollfitness.com, and then Wiley X and 1693. But all those descriptions will be in the podcast as well. So I think that's all we got.
Stunting on people.
Yeah.
Stunt.
All day. Oh, and the day chooses you.
Yeah. How do we forget at that?
I don't know.
It's one of those days.
I keep popping my pants.
And cut. It's a wrap. Namas. Cut it off. Check the mic. Turn it off. We have plenty of battery. You guys need to cut it before I keep going.